Hi, friends. This is Mr. Rogers here, and I hope that you guys have had a fantastic uh, weekend and then a couple, I guess, Monday. And so today is Tuesday, the 8th of December, and today we're going to talk a little bit about active transport. Now, active transport doesn't get talked about as much as maybe passive transport does because passive transport includes the huge ideas of diffusion and osmosis. Active transport is used a lot in your body still, and it happens all the time. And most of the time when active transport happens, especially when we're talking about in this class, we're going to talk about something called endocytosis and exocytosis. But as you go along, you're going to learn about in your biology career, when your next biology class, like AP Bio, your next class in college, you take biology, you're going to find that the pumps that we're going to talk about today, they are all over your body and they play a crucial role in resetting your body when you move your muscles or you send signals in your nerves. And so active transport is a humongous part of the human body, just not so much in 10th grade, if that makes sense. So we're going to go through some slides. I want us to take notes. I want you to probably take notes on a written piece of paper. It's proven to be better that way. You get more down that way. Um, and I think it'll be more helpful. Okay. So, first things first, active transport and some or active transport basically comes down to the idea that energy has to be used to get something in and out of the cell. So passive transport, no energy had to be used. It was just a occurrence that happened within the cell. It was just something that required no energy. It just happened. Active transport requires energy. And why it requires energy is the objects are either too large to move through, or we are going opposite of the concentration gradient. We're going low to high. Diffusion and osmosis went high to low. This one we're going to go low to high. So we're going against it, so it requires energy. Imagine passive transport is kind of like moving down the stream in a tube. You guys might have all gone tubing at some point in your life. You don't have to put much energy tubing going down the stream. But if I want to go up the stream in a tube, I got to put some energy in. So that would be like active transport. So the actual definition of active transport is this: the movement of particles from an area of low concentration to an area of high concentration that uses energy provided by ATP or difference in electrical charges across a cell membrane. We haven't talked about ATP yet. We will in the next couple of weeks. Or electrical charges across the membrane. We'll talk about that in this class as well down the line. But the idea here is that we need energy. Energy is what is required. It doesn't matter what kind of energy that is, one of these two, but we need to use energy to get things from a low to a high concentration. That's where it comes down to. Active transport is moving low to high, low to high. Active transport, as it says here, it uses ATP. This is the first model of active transport. This is called a pump. And you guys might have heard like water pumps or anything like that. A pump is designed to move things from one place to another using electricity or energy of some kind. Same thing in your cell. We're going to use energy to move this red guy here from this side to this side, low to high, low to high. Okay, so any or several molecular mechanisms in which ions or molecules are transported across a cell membrane requiring the use of energy source. We're going from low to high. We're using energy to do that. Going against the normal, natural concentration gradient. So this is the pump. This is one of the pictures you're going to draw. You draw a little picture of cell membrane, a couple tails, and you have things moving low to high. There's also some other fantastic pictures online. The most famous pump in your body is something called the sodium potassium pump. That one's worth a look. Sodium potassium. It's what resets your body after you send a signal in your nerves or in your muscles. And so it's super, super, super important. And if your sodium potassium pump gets screwed up, you don't live anymore. So this is super important. And so here, right here, we have another picture of it. We are, so this is going to be moving H plus ions into the stomach. So this is H plus is going to create acid. This is what creates acidic nature inside your stomach. And so we want to move them from a low concentration to high. We want a high concentration of H plus inside your stomach to break down foods. To do that, we have to use a pump, because going from low to high, you have to use a pump to do that. Okay. So we have these H plus guys. They come up to the pump, get them into the spot. Now, every pump is kind of like, and AP Bio, and in this class too, we're talking about, it's called a lock and key phenomenon in bio. One of the major theories of cell biology is lock and key, meaning this is the lock, this is the key. H plus is the only thing that can fit into this lock. So it's designed for H plus. So only H plus can go through this pump. H plus comes in, ATP pushes it through, it gets to the other side. So this is another picture you could draw for your cell active transport drawing project a little bit. So let's take a look here. Label each diagram as passive transport or active transport. Passive transport or active. So here we're moving from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 1, 2. So this is going from a high concentration to a low concentration. This is a form of diffusion called facilitated diffusion. We haven't talked a lot about it, but the idea here is you're going from a high to a low. So this would be passive. This guy, going from a high concentration to a low concentration. This is passive. This guy, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going from a low to high with energy used in. This is the energy diagram here. So this would be active transport. Active. This required energy to go from low to high. Low to high. If you can't tell, low to high is a big part of this active transport of pumps. High to low was the passive transport. Now, there are a lot of situations that things are just way too big for us to go across our membrane the normal way, either passive transport or active transport with pumps. And so we do versions of this called endocytosis and exocytosis. And these are forms of active transport. They require energy. They are big things that require to be brought in. So if we're looking at the picture here, so this is an amoeba about to take in another living thing to eat it. And you can see he's about to swallow it. So this is how he actually eats his endocytosis. Your cell will do the exact same thing if it needs something. So it needs this large particle. So it starts taking it in. I like to think about it, it's like trying to hug it. Like my grandma, when she hugs me, she wraps her big arms around me, her big paws around me, and takes me in slowly, and then I can't escape. Okay? So it wraps around and brings it in. And as you can see, it even keeps a little cell membrane wrapped around it to keep it protected inside our cell, so nothing breaks it down like the lysosomes. Or it doesn't hurt us. Sometimes it's like a little prisoner. So this is called endocytosis. Cyto, we've talked about that word before. That means cell. Endo means inside. Sys means process, so it's an endocytosis. It's bringing something inside the cell, the process of that. Exocytosis is the complete opposite. It's the reverse of the situation. And this requires energy as well. So we have something inside our cell and we want to get rid of it, but it's too big to go through the membrane. And so we float it over in a vesicle or vacuole, put it up against the membrane, and basically just throw it up. You can see it connects, and then we just open up the door here, and we just get rid of it. Push it out. If you actually look at the picture of these two, if I scan or go across both of these, they're exactly the reverse of each other. If I drew the arrows the other way, it'd be exocytosis. If I drew the arrows the other way, this would be endocytosis. So really, you're going to draw both these pictures in your project today, but they're exactly the same, just one's going into the cell, one's going out of the cell. Awesome. And so this is just a quick little picture. This is a sodium potassium pump. Most years we go more in depth into it, but we're not going to do that today. But if you have a second today, it might not be the worst thing to do is to go through and talk about or look at the sodium potassium pump and just take a gander at it. And it might be a good pump to draw for your pump drawing for active transport. So for active transport, to rehash everything, it's movement from low to high. It requires energy. If things are too large, we have to do something different. So the main thing to go low to high is with a pump. And they pump things out low to high in our body. That requires energy, though, so we have to spend energy to do that. If things are too big, we either have to do endocytosis, which is bringing stuff in, or exocytosis, which is getting rid of something. I hope that makes sense. I hope that you can follow along. I'm sorry if I went kind of fast, but you can pause, obviously, and stuff like that while doing the thing and taking your notes. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be back at school, most of us, so we'll be able to talk through some of this a little bit and make sure that we feel comfortable. Besides that, have a wonderful, fantastic day, and I will talk to you guys soon.